How are you going to sell more homes without giving Zillow all your money? Throw some parties. Hey, today we're talking about throwing some parties, but not just any type of party. We're talking about throwing housewarming parties. Why? Because they are a fantastic way to get in touch with your client's sphere of influence. They are a fantastic way to give back to your clients that you just helped through a transaction, and a fantastic way to make new friends, frankly. So let's throw some housewarming parties. But before we do, we need to decide if this is something that we're really going to go in on and add as a pillar of our real estate business. It really can prove to be one of your best ways of meeting potential clients, and all of it is just from having a good time with people that you want to spend time with. The idea is, if you want to get into throwing housewarming parties for your clients, do it, but build out systems to make your life easier and to make them less expensive, frankly. Most of the tasks that are going to be taking place with helping someone throw their housewarming party are the same tasks that are going to be done for other housewarming parties in the future. So write things out, organize it, maintain contacts and resources of who you're going to be using, and systemize away. A great place to start is at closing. You want to make the offer when we're at the closing table with your current clients, because there's a high likelihood that they want to do something, but there's an even higher likelihood that the concept of moving out of their old house, packing everything up, moving into their new house, unpacking everything, getting settled, getting clean, and ready to throw a party is overwhelming enough. So we want to start at the closing table, but we don't want to put anything soon on the calendar. We're going to explain to them that if they want to take advantage of this, we're going to hang a date out 1, 2, 3 months down the road, right? So that it's not stressful for them to get that house tidied up before it happens. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them that not only are we excited for them to close on their property, excited for them to have this housewarming party and show it off to all their friends, but we're willing to help them out because we have the organization, the administrative support, and the experience to do it well. So we'll just take that off their shoulders. What does that mean? Sure, it means we're going to help them pay for it. That's one of the big things and they're grateful for. But the other thing is we're going to help them put it together. We're going to make the invitations ourselves. What does that mean? That means we need their list of friends and family who are going to be invited to this party. We need physical addresses. We need email addresses, and we need names. The only really piece of your database for any potential record that you're not asking for is a phone number, and that may or may not be filled in down the road. So we are collecting new lists from friends of our clients who just had a great experience with us. Are you tracking with me now? It's a pretty great idea. You've got to be sensitive with this information, but you definitely want that information. So what are we going to do? We're going to have a few restaurants or caterers prepared to offer up as options for our clients. Maybe choose a few different types of food like pizza and wings, or maybe barbecue, or I've even heard of sushi and different ideas. So have some things that are appropriate for various price points, and then do some research, make sure that whether or not it's going to be affordable for you and whether or not it's going to be an appropriate offering for a specific type of home. So get your vendors set up. You should probably also consider making friends with a bounce house guy. A lot of times, if there's kids involved, you're going to want to have a bounce house there because they love them, and parents love the fact that the kids love them. They get worn out, they sit down, eat some food, and mellow out. So have your vendors lined up. This may happen over time from just starting throwing your housewarming parties, but it might happen up front too if you're the super organized type. You want to also establish who you're going to get your alcohol from, if it's going to be beer and wine or whatever it is you want to offer. There are places where you might be able to get a wholesale price if you're ordering this regularly, or maybe you make friends with the nearest liquor store guy. Maybe you pick a place that's close to your office or your house so that picking up and dropping off is easier. Whatever the case may be, just think it through to streamline the process. Another thing that you can consider is that you might not want to offer the beer and wine. I myself have been able to hold back on that front, which actually saves me a bunch of money because frankly, the alcohol is going to cost more than the food if you think about it in most cases. But there's two things. There's the cost and there's also the potential liability. So if something happens, people are drinking, you provided the alcohol, you might be in jeopardy in that case. And so for those two reasons, I usually just tell people, listen, I'm going to help you with all the invitations. We're going to organize it. We're going to throw this party. We're going to provide the food. You're not going to have to think about anything. The only thing I'll ask you to do is if you want to provide beer and wine or alcohol, that you do that, because that's something that's a little bit of a gray area for us on the professional front. People understand, they're grateful anyways, and now you have a significant cost cut out of your housewarming party, and of course the liability is cut out as well. So you've got all these systems in place, you've got everything lined up, your invitations have gone out, you're doing electronic invitations as well. Now you just show up to the party and have fun. Talk to as many people as you can. Make connections, seek referrals. You might as well take the opportunity to play host a little bit, right? Obviously, you are having the food brought in by an admin or catered by the restaurant. You're having the invitations done. So you're not doing a lot of the heavy lifting yourself. But if you help serve some food, collect some bottles, clean up a little bit here and there, it's a great way to lend a hand to your client, first of all, but also to establish yourself as one of the people that is helping throw this party, which naturally leads to the same types of conversations you want to have. Hey, you're helping out. How do you know the owners? I just helped them buy the house. Oh, great. Now you're in a real estate conversation, right? And it's just natural. You're having a drink, you're having some food, you're meeting new friends, and you're talking about what happens to be your area of expertise. And you've already collected names and numbers up front, so you don't even have to worry about that. Speaking of those names and numbers, we want to obviously bring them all into our system, but be careful not to be blasting them with properties because that's not who they are. They didn't come in from some portal looking to see homes for sale. These are sphere leads, right? So we're not going to be weird about it and just throw them real estate properties, throw them a bunch of marketing emails and videos. We want to put them in the system, but hold back a little bit and use caution with how you make contact with them. One thing you probably should do though is add them on social media. You've met them in person, you've worked with a friend of theirs. I think that's more than okay to make that connection and friend them there. Overall, these things can be done really inexpensively, but you can go all out as well. Like some of the sushi and sake parties I talked about. In most cases, they're going to range from that $400 to $1,000 price point. And frankly, it is well worth it. Like I said, it's a lot better to spend this type of money on a large group of people that are warm and have firsthand experience from someone they already know that they trust you, instead of spending that same amount of money or more on one individual Zillow lead, right? I was talking about vendors a little bit earlier. A great way to go would maybe do one of those taco stands where the people make the food right then and there for you. We are in San Diego, so naturally that's something that comes to mind. But also food trucks are a great way to go in lieu of a catering vendor. You'd be surprised because typically all they really want in exchange for showing up to a private party like this is a minimum food spend. And sometimes that food spend can be as little as a few $100. So it's just a matter of finding a really cool place that seems fun, or maybe your clients, maybe they got a real health kick. So you want to find a more health-centric food truck. Whatever the case is, you can find something cool, have them show up out front, makes your life even easier than catering the food. Probably got a more impressive bang for the buck type look as well, because you've got a whole food truck just for the party. And like I said, the minimum food is probably the amount of money that you're going to spend on food anyways. So look into that as well as a great option and for a little more wow factor for your clients when it comes to this housewarming party. We've definitely covered the basics of the housewarming parties, but there's more to talk about. So if you have any questions, logistics, or thoughts, feel free to reach out, send me a DM or mention me in the comments, and I'll be happy to talk to you soon.